Hello everyone. Now let's move on to the next question. Question number 7. We have question says here a pilot wishes to fly his plane from point A to point B on a bearing of 55 degrees. There is a wind blowing at 120 kilometers per hour from the west. The plane can fly at 650 kilometers in still air. So part 1, you want to find the direction at which the pilot must fly his plane in order to reach B. So we're going to draw the north first, right? So getting this is north, and 55 degrees to the bearing is going to be here, 55 degrees. That's from point A to point B. Okay, now another information here says that there is a wind blowing 120 kilometers hours from the west. So there's a wind blowing, let me double check that. So wind blowing from the west to the right? So if the pilot keeps a bearing of 55 degrees, it's not going to reach B. Instead, because of the wind, it's going to go a bit diverted to the right. So instead, the pilot needs to adjust his bearing. He needs to go a bit smaller compared to 55 degrees. So instead, we're going to draw this. Okay, so he needs to go in this direction. We want to find the bearing, the direction that he's going in. Now let's write down the informations that we have. We know that this is going to be 120 kilometers per hour, and in still air the plane can move at 650 kilometers per hour. Okay, now we know that this is 55 degrees and this is going to be 35 degrees. We can state 35 degree here because of the alternate angle. Right, now in order to find this bearing, we need to find this angle first, right? So what we're going to do first here is we're going to use the sine rule, where we have 120 over sine alpha is equals to 650 over sine 35. Then sine alpha is going to be equals to 120 sine 35 over 650. And then alpha is going to be inverse of sine 120 sine 35 over 650. Now after you plug everything into the calculator, you should get your answer as 6.08 degrees, right? But this is not your final answer. You want to find the bearing, which is theta, in this part. So that's going to be your 55 degrees minus 6.08, and this is going to be equals to 48.92 degrees. Alright, so moving on to the next part of the question. It says here, given the distance between AB is 1,250 kilometers, find the time it will take for the pilot to fly from point A to point B. Okay, so we know that AB here is 1250, and we know that the formula for speed is equal to distance over time. You have distance, but you need to find the time. Now the good thing about here is that you are given the speed of A to a point here, and then the wind speed from west. Okay, but what you're missing right now is the velocity or speed that goes directly from point A to point B. So what you need to do now is you need to find that velocity first, then you can apply the speed formula. Okay, so in order to use that, we would have to find the angle of this. Let's call this beta, right? So angle of beta is going to be equals to 180 minus 35 minus 6.08, and that will give you 138.92. Okay, then let's move on. Now we have 138.92. we want to find x. We are going to use the cosine rule to find this the velocity. So cosine rule is c squared is equals to a square plus b square minus 2ab cos theta. In this case, theta is beta, so let's write beta here. So we're trying to find c square. Our a is equals to 120 square plus our b is 650 square minus 2 times 120 times 650 cos, sorry, not sine, cos 138.92. Yep, you don't have enough space, so I'm gonna push this back a bit. So C equals to square the whole thing. We have 120 square plus 650 square minus 2 times 120, 650 cos 138.92. And the velocity that we're going to get is equals to 744.642. Okay, so I would use the whole answer, and this is just for representation. Now our next step is that we can actually use the speed formula. So speed is equals to distance over time. Since we want to find time, let's make time as a subject. So time is going to be equals to distance over speed. Now distance is going to be 1250 kilometers over our answer from the first part. Okay, so we have time is going to be equals to 1250 divided by answer, which is equals to 1.68 hours. Yep, and that's it.